All right, today we're diving into something, well, pretty wild. It's an idea that connects the strange world of quantum physics directly to your digital wallet. It's called the TQFD quantum economy, and it proposes a way to fight the decay of our money's value using principles from the subatomic level. It is a completely new way of looking at finance, so let's get right into it.
Everything really kicks off with this one simple but huge question. You know that feeling, watching inflation or market swings slowly eat away at your savings? It's that silent decay. But what if the answer wasn't in some old-school financial model, but in the truly bizarre world of quantum mechanics? That's the core idea we're unpacking.
So before we get to the solution, we have to really get our heads around the problem. In the digital world, there's this invisible force constantly at work, this hidden decay that's always eroding the value of what we own. This model gives it a name: economic entropy.
At the heart of this whole theory is this really powerful metaphor. See, in physics, you have these tiny particles called quantum dots, and they randomly lose energy. It's a process called blinking. Well, this model argues that our digital money does basically the same thing. It loses its value, its utility, over time, through this economic entropy. The information that actually gives it value just dissipates, kind of like the energy blinking away from that quantum dot.
So what is this economic entropy, really? Well, think of it like the universe's natural tendency to get messy. You know, a hot cup of coffee doesn't just stay hot forever, right? It cools down because its energy spreads out, becomes more disordered. This model says the same thing happens to financial data. If you just leave it alone, unstructured, it loses its informational punch, and that decay is what drags down the value of the money it represents.
Okay, so if economic entropy is the villain of our story, then who's the hero? This brings us to a totally new kind of economic player, someone designed specifically to fight this decay. Let's meet the data valuer.
The data valuer is the absolute key to this whole system. But they're not some passive investor just watching charts. No, they're an active creator. They're called an organic thinker because it's about using human intuition, human intellect, to take that raw, messy financial data and literally transform it into something stable and valuable.
But how do they actually do that? A data valuer isn't just working with spreadsheets. They have a very specific, very powerful set of tools designed for this one-of-a-kind job. So let's take a look inside their toolkit.
Now, this isn't about humans being replaced by AI, not at all. It's about a true partnership, a symbiosis. The human data valuer, the organic thinker, provides the big picture strategy, the intuition, the why. Then, the AI partner, the digital intellect, does all the heavy lifting, chewing through massive data sets to pinpoint those exact patterns of value decay, that economic blinking we talked about.
And this human AI team works on a very specific piece of gear. The system uses a specialized device that's all about edge computing. All that means is that the complex number crunching, measuring the entropy, valuing the data, it all happens right there on the device in your hand, in real time. No need to connect to some big central server. It's instant.
And this all comes together in a clear four-step process. First, the data valuer uses their device to detect a stream of financial data that's losing value. Second, they team up with their AI to analyze it and measure exactly how fast that value is disappearing. Third, and this is the magic step, they act. This is the intellectual work, where they reorganize that data structure to stop the bleeding. And finally, through that one action, they create a brand new, stable asset.
Which brings us to the end product of all this effort. See, it's not just about stopping decay. It's about forging something new from the fire, a completely different kind of money.
The result is this new asset called Universal Social Digital Dollars, or UUSD. And you've got to understand, this is not just another cryptocurrency or a stock. Its value isn't based on hype or market speculation. Nope, it's tied directly to the intellectual work of creating order out of chaos. Stability is its entire reason for being.
The creator of this whole concept, Felipe Alves Ferreira, uses this fantastic analogy. He says, creating USSD is like placing monetary potatoes in your own land. Think about that. It's not about planting your money in someone else's field and just hoping for a good harvest. It's about cultivating your own value in your own digital space. It's all about economic sovereignty. This thinking completely redefines a core concept in economics: surplus value. You know, traditionally, surplus value, or profit, is what you get for taking a risk. Well, this system flips that completely on its head. Here, surplus value is the direct result of creating order.
You generate wealth not by betting on chaos, but by actively fighting it. So, when you put it all together, the data valuer, the toolkit, this new asset, what does the bigger picture actually look like? Well, it forms the foundation of something called the universal cash economy.
And this economy runs on a totally different set of rules. The whole goal is to keep assets liquid, basically like cash. It's built on a foundation of risk refusal, avoiding all that traditional market speculation. Here, value comes from the freshness of creation, from that human intellectual spark. The whole engine is that human-AI partnership, and it's all decentralized, putting the power right back into the hands of the individual with their tools.
And that really leaves us with a massive question to chew on. Our traditional financial system, it's built almost entirely on taking risks, managing risks, pricing risks. This model proposes a completely different road. It suggests that maybe the most lasting, the most durable wealth isn't found by gambling in the chaos of the market, but is actively built by creating order from that very chaos. Something to think about.